Hello, we're Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile, and welcome to Boots to Reboots. Today, we're crossing off and reviewing The Crow.
Why did they have to remake The Crow?
Or as I like to call it, Goth Pigeon.
All of these shitty remakes, is there a single gem? They did it right already. Get all the candle to them. Which any of we watching with personality. One thing's for sure, good people, we got some movies to see. We got boots to remake. Stop ready to stop that shit. We got boots to remake. Stop ready to stop that shit.
The Crow, 2024, is the second adaptation of the 1989 graphic novel by James O'Barr. He created the comic after his fiancée was killed by a drunk driver.
For once, it wasn't me.
The remake of the 1994 classic is directed by Rupert Sanders, known for cheating on his wife with Kristen Stewart, and written by William Schneider and Zach Balin. This entry is the fifth film in the series.
Instead of a remake, this should have been The Crow 5. Flock harder.
A remake was first announced way back in 2008, and there have been numerous writers, directors, and actors attached to the project that seemed like it was stuck in development hell.
But it can't rain all the time.
I mean, just look at the list of actors who all at one point were considered for the part of Eric Draven.
Victims? Weren't they all?
Musician F.K. Twigs was cast to play Eric's girlfriend, SHELLY, and even though his brother Alexander was in talks for the lead role, the part eventually went to Bill Skarsgård.
He does have experience painting his face.
Sanders described his reboot as a dark romance focusing on grief and morality. He felt the script honored Brandon Lee, who was tragically shot on set, and described Skarsgård's version as a successor.
I actually just threw up in my mouth.
I never thought I would actually see the day, but let's cross the remake of The Crow off the list and see if it deserves the boot. The remake opens with a young Eric discovering a white horse caught in some barbed wire.
Oh no! I'm getting flashbacks to the swamp of sadness.
Come on! Attack!
Unfortunately, Eric's parents are passed out in their trailer, covered in crows. White trash parents and white horse imagery? Is this Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
When someone you love dies, you will never forget, and you will never forgive.
It's true. Our mother is dead, and I'll never forget her. You know what? And I'll never forgive you. How my pancakes feel, covered in extra syrup. Flash forward, and Eric is an addict with more issues than Fangoria, who has nightmares about his troubled childhood.
Ooh, I can't wait for them to flesh out his backstory.
They don't! We see that Eric is bullied and struggling with his addiction at a rehab center.
His addiction is getting ugly tattoos.
When the first image was released, my reaction was, oh no, they turned him into Jared Leto's Joker. Don't get me wrong, I love tattoos, but what were they thinking?
Tastes like regret.
Oh, jeez. We then have to meet Shelly, a musician with her own problems. She receives a video on her phone from Zadie that was shot by their friend, Dom. The video incriminates a crime lord named Vincent Rogue, an evil dude with a name like a cheap cologne. Shelly saves the video and hides her phone, knowing that it will likely get her killed.
That, and she probably read the comic.
I don't think the cast or crew read the comic. Shelly heads to Zadie's place, but is spotted by the Noodle Henchman, who gives chase. I have to call him Noodle Henchman because I don't know their names. The original had Fun Boy, T-Bird, Tintin, and Skank. They were horrible thugs, but memorable and also kinda fun.
I once swallowed some buckshot and had to patch the drywall after I farted.
The chase is over before it begins because Shelly bumps into the cops who bust her for pills. Lucky. Meanwhile, Zadie is injected with NyQuil, captured, and interrogated by ROEG. Oh boy, you do not want to wake up in a room covered in plastic.
They're going to make her paint the ceiling.
ROEG reveals that he's made a deal with the devil. By sending innocent souls to hell, he gets eternal life perks.
I've killed hundreds of innocents like you in the centuries that I've been here.
No one likes a bragger.
He then forces Zadie to stab herself by whispering something demonic in her ear. Hey, that's a lyric from the black metal band Mayhem.
That's messed up. But at least he isn't boning his sister.
For my sister.
Sister? She's supposed to be your sister?
Turns out, a drug rehab center is the perfect place for a meet cute when Eric notices Shelly and scribbles in his journal. Here we see Bill Skarsgård writing that letter to Robert Eggers, begging him to be in Nosferatu. Despite Eric's lazy jumping jacks, the two quickly become smitten and bond over tattoos.
They don't like you in here, do they?
Yeah, the alcoholics saw Eric's haircut and instantly sobered up. The two flirt, and during a group circle, they get closer in more ways than one.
Step into the circle.
In that moment, Shelly realized she's in love with the cameraman. Eric's bunk has been trashed, and inside his poem journal, Shelly finds a nude drawing.
Is this me?
He drew that while you were sleeping? Suddenly, Shelly is told she has a visitor, even though nobody knows she's there.
I mean, it just looks like fucking lawyers to me.
Shouldn't the lawyers get a room for that?
Before she's taken away by ROEG's right-hand woman named Marion, Eric helps Shelly escape.
Fuck this place. I'm rehabilitated.
He's going straight to the tattoo parlor and turning his belly button into a cat's anus.
The two easily escape in like 5 seconds and hop into the back of someone's truck.
A former life.
Got one of those.
I bet you do.
And I bet the writers forgot to include it. They shack up in her friend's vacant home, where they quickly fall in love. Who broke into my house and had sex on all my furniture? Look, they banged over here, and over here. They even banged up there.
What's the first thing you liked about me?
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
And she's gonna fix him.
If I'm ever hard to love, Try to love me harder.
Things they say when they're hard to love. ROEG is informed that Zadie's body was found in the river.
I can feel you sweating through the phone.
He ain't kidding! So, the couple pop pills, drink, make out, and travel together, living a carefree life.
We could be living like this all the fucking time.
In a lake?
Later, Shelley stops playing the piano when she remembers the cell phone video.
I haven't played piano for a while. My mum took it and twisted it all. I hurt people.
Was her piano playing that bad?
So you're saying, if I jumped, you'd jump with me?
Into a ball pit?
No, little buddy, off a bridge. I'm starting to think this isn't a healthy relationship. Eventually, Dom finds Shelley and tells her that Zadie is dead.
You've got to leave, Aaron. Who the fuck was that?
Who was that? A forgettable character. Remember Sergeant Albrecht or Little Sarah? Those were fleshed out characters.
I don't even know if onions make Dom fart.
No onions?
They make you fart big time.
Sadly, ROEG's men crash the party, and the couple are suffocated. Your hands are right there! Poke a hole! You know what? That's it. They deserve to die.
That's it? A quick, bloodless death?
Not that it needs to be super graphic, but that was kinda weak.
The movie choked.
The original didn't always follow the source material either. In the comic, Eric and Shelley are murdered by Tintin, Tom Tom, Top Dollar, Funboy, and T-Bird on the side of the road instead of their loft apartment. Eric awakens underwater and finds himself in a purgatory-like rail yard where he meets an old man.
What is this place? You'd think they'd come up with something better, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it only took you 16 years to write this.
In the comic, the Skull Cowboy is a guide for the souls lost in limbo. He was played by Michael Berryman in the original, but those scenes were unfinished and had to be cut due to the passing of Brandon Lee. In the remake, his name is Kronos, which I had to look up. And instead of a Skull Cowboy, it's the trope of the magical Negro.
Damn, I was hoping for Mr. T.
I'm the wise janitor. I'm here to impart knowledge, help youngsters overcome their fears.
Kronos says that sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it, and the soul cannot rest.
What are you talking about?
He's saying you're like a ghost.
Ghosts? Boo.
I would not say boo to a Ghostbuster. Careful, it's like a nuclear reactor. Oh shit! Kronos explains that Eric will have to kill ROEG to be reunited with Shelley.
It's all just a fucking nightmare.
Then go wake up.
He's alive. And wet his pants.
Instead of crawling out of his grave 1 year later, Eric wakes up and is immediately shot.
What happened with my girl?
Now he's a SoundCloud rapper that has street cred.
Undead, and with the ability to regenerate, Eric sets off on his goth-fueled mission of justice. What a waste. I would have eaten that crust. After popping his guts back in, Eric sees Shelley jump off a bridge and follows, finding himself back at the rail yard.
I don't understand. Why am I here and she isn't?
She had unpaid parking tickets.
She's on her way down to a place far worse than this.
She's in New Jersey.
If your love remains pure, you cannot die.
What about my thoughts? Can they remain impure?
Thrown into another puddle, Eric then visits Shelly's mom, Sophia, to find out who was after her daughter.
I loved her. I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them.
Think of it like Pokemon. He's gotta catch 'em all. After she breaks down, Eric bumps into one of ROEG's henchmen outside.
I fucking killed you.
Yes, we did.
The real murderer was your barber. I know, he kinda had an 80s mullet in the comic, but he didn't look like Lloyd Christmas. Eric enters his car and wants the names of the people he works for. But whoops! The Crow has one weakness: tinnitus! Eric then notices Marion making a run for it, so he starts blasting. There are easier ways to call shotgun. Eric trades punches and bullets with the thugs until he's pushed out of the car. His revenge has hit a speed bump. Too bad the speed bump was him.
Maybe his trench coat should be reflective.
Sometimes it backfires when you tell an actor to break a leg.
Andy, it's been over an hour. Is he ever gonna look like the Crow?
Yeah, so far, this Crow movie is Crow light. It's like watching Machine Gun Kelly get his ass kicked for 60 minutes.
Now that I would watch.
ROEG visits Sophia, and it's revealed she traded her daughter for a better life.
What you gave me was not a gift, it was a curse.
When Mother reminds me that she gave us life. Fascinated that Eric is back from the dead, ROEG then whispers sweet demonic nothings into her ear.
That better life included a one-way trip.
Eric finds Dom, who tells him all about Vincent ROEG. His voice finds the darkest parts of your soul, and it gets louder until you do something bad.
I never would have made that fucking video if I known what would have happened, man.
What video?
Eric then finds Shelly's phone with the incriminating video revealing that Shelly stabbed a girl.
That's it? A stabbing? I was hoping for a gangbang.
Eric visits his buddy Chance, now doubting his love for Shelly, when more nameless henchmen show up.
For a superhero, he hasn't saved anybody.
Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Don't say that to my mother. The last thing she needs to think is that she's God.
You know what? I do like the idea of killing my only son.
Eric once again loses his shirt, and now his healing, which means it's lights out. Hey, boss. You remember how you sent us to kidnap that guy who can't die? We killed him. Doubting his love, Shelly sinks out of view, and Eric once again returns to the afterlife.
You had a chance, and you wasted it.
Well, now the remake is bashing itself. Eric then makes a deal with Kronos. If he can kill ROEG, Eric's soul will take Shelly's place in hell.
Mine for hers. My soul for hers.
There's no way the sex was that good.
So, a murder of crows dramatically circle as the blood pact is made. And Eric is given super duper crow powers. Or has to take a shit.
Go put the wrong things right.
Destroy every copy of The Crow, Wicked Prayer, starring Edward Furlong. That's it. Bath time is over, and Eric finally kicks some ass. We get it. You're strong now. No need to bash us over the head. During a smoke break, Eric touches up a tattoo and uses the ink to finally don the crow makeup. 1 hour and 15 minutes to put on the paint. I should be nerding out right now, but I'm not. It's subdued and lacks style.
In Limbo, you get a discount on black leather.
In the original, Eric is having these emotional visions of SHELLY. It's candlelit, with lightning and rain pouring outside. It's dark and moody. Burn by The Cure is blasting in the background to perfectly set the mood.
When the look you're going for is sad mime, who knows kung fu?
You feel Eric Draven's pain and anger before he sets off to get revenge.
Plus, in the remake, he doesn't even have a kitty.
Armed with a katana, Eric is ready for the climax. His soul is about to burn in hell. So what's 7 years of bad luck? Eric tracks Marion to the Opera House and turns Swan Lake into Sword Lake. He did have an entire broccoli stem stuck in his teeth. Chill, dude. They were asking to see your ticket. Aw, look at that smile. He's the one person who's happy to be in this remake.
For once, I think I'd rather be watching an opera.
Lucky, my chiropractor would charge $200 for that. As he makes his way up the stairs, Eric tanks a bunch of bullets.
I'd like to see the Phantom of the Opera do that.
I will give the director some credit. After what happened to Brandon Lee, and recently on the set of Rust, Sanders wanted no firing weapons on set. Instead, they used airsoft guns with CGI smoke and muzzle flashes. Eric slices and dices, pushes a guy out of a window, and takes advantage of his immortality. Instead of henchman hazard pay, they got a pizza party. Okay, I see your point.
Thank you. The opera music was giving me a splitting headache.
This 5-minute action scene is easily the best part of the remake. ROEG then wishes Marion the best, while Eric takes out the final guard. All this bloodshed. Because Eric wanted a VIP box seat.
You fucking killed us. Was it worth it?
Not if she has to be lectured by someone who works at Hot Topic.
Marion reveals Rogue's location before losing her head. Eric then takes a final bow, tossing their severed heads into the audience. Talk about a killer show! Real cutting-edge theater!
Wait, you asshole! I can't keep up!
Eric enters Rogue's creepy country estate and finds him in the dungeon where he brushes his hair.
He wishes he had hair like Top Dollar.
Oh, this is already boring the shit out of me. Kill him!
Who are you? Just an old man, but I'm real.
I'm not convinced. Keep cutting.
Rogue tells Eric that Shelly isn't who he thought she was, and that he cannot bring her back.
You can't corrupt what's not already there. A pearl needs a seed.
So deep down, Shelly really hated how that girl was like, alive.
Look at yourself. Look at what you've become.
You've been a clown, a bird, and now a count. Rogue wants Eric's powers for himself, so he mixes their blood and whispers in his ear. Wait a minute. Can we play that backwards?
You really should have grown out your hair.
During the flashbacks, we do see something interesting.
I have no love left, only hate.
It looks like Eric's trailer caught on fire. Did his parents die? Did he do it? Do we ever find out? With the power of love, Eric moves the showdown to the afterlife. The real star of this movie is that puddle.
This is the place.
This is the place where it all ends.
This movie? Or the entire Crow franchise?
Now it's Eric's turn to throw someone into a puddle, and he punches Rogue like a lot. That was for sewing Deadpool's mouth shut.
Your striker finally figured out how to shut you up.
Perfect. You have no idea what hell awaits you. Yeah, I do.
He once stayed at an Airbnb in Detroit. Some scary, scary monster hands then claw at Rogue and drag him into the puddle. Nice to see the pool skeletons from Poltergeist getting some work. Like a kid in Derry, Shelly floats and is reunited with her love.
Eric, I had this terrible dream.
Some producer had the smart idea to remake The Crow. While Eric says he'll love her forever, Shelly is revived by Kronos, disguised as a medic.
He fought hard for you.
All because deep down, you wanted to cut a bitch.
So, Shelly lives, and I guess Eric's soul goes to hell? But at least he has the memory of their love.
And that's enough. Almost enough.
No, I've had enough.
Eric accepts his fate, content that their souls will meet again. Bill Skarsgård favored the original, more definitive ending, but it was changed to set up the possibility of a sequel.
Impressive! Before the credits, they squeezed in one more dumb idea.
With a budget of $50 million, the remake only grossed $24 million worldwide.
It bombed.
The original is a classic, and its shadow only grew bigger after Brandon Lee's tragic death. His career was about to take off, but instead, that film is his legacy. It feels sacred, as if to remake it is to desecrate his grave.
He was resurrected to avenge his dead fiancée, but there's always time to shred.
I like Bill. With a better script and look, I think he could have been a decent Crow. This Eric initially comes off as weak, but it does build to a violent climax that is memorable. However, Bill's Eric is less brooding rock star and more of a Post Malone wannabe in black and white. Or in this case, just black makeup.
Wouldn't want to cover up those face tattoos.
The performance by FKA Twigs is fine. She and Bill are trying to bring the chemistry, despite the script. The original threw us into the action. We open on the crime scene, and the audience has to learn who these characters were and what happened to them. In the remake, I thought it'd be a great idea to spend more time with Eric and SHELLY to flesh out the characters more. But not if they're two junkies who quickly fall in love and die just as quick. How long were this Eric and SHELLY even together? A week? A month?
I've been in a longer relationship with a sock.
Danny Houston is a fine actor, but ROEG feels like a generic villain compared to Michael Wincott as Top Dollar.
Caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead!
The original is set in Detroit on the night before Halloween. That time and setting is crucial to the story. Where is the remake set? It was filmed in Prague, but it doesn't fully utilize the city's Gothic architecture.
Besides the opera, this movie is apartments and warehouses.
There are other revenge stories you can tell with The Crow. They didn't need to use Eric again. If you are going to readapt the comic, then make it more faithful than the original film.
Even I'm more faithful! And I've been cheating with a different sock.
The 1994 movie is cool, gothic, moody, dripping with atmosphere, has great characters, action, and is set to a badass soundtrack. The remake lacks most of these qualities and is bland. On a technical level, the craftsmanship is competent, but it lacks style. While the original leaned into 90s metal and grunge aesthetics, the remake is slicker and more polished.
I thought this was an ad for a car.
The original Crow is like a time capsule and very much a product of its time. You can't capture that magic in a bottle again. Perhaps the best route was to make it modern for a new generation.
Too bad it was for the TikTok generation.
Hollywood did not have their finger on the pulse. Since 2008, comment sections have been filled with fans saying, "Don't remake this. We don't want to see it."
Then Hollywood acts surprised when no one shows up. Like my birthday party.
The original's director and cast came out against it and refused to see it, out of respect for Brandon, calling it a cynical cash grab. Perhaps creator James O'Barr said it best. No matter who you get to star in it, or if you get Ridley Scott to direct it and spend $200 million, you're still not gonna top what Brandon Lee and Alex Proyas did in that first $10 million movie. One compliment I can give the remake is that the action sequences are well choreographed and visceral. However, it's not a worthy successor to the 1994 film or a better adaptation of the comic. This bland update stands in the shadow of Brandon Lee. Therefore, the remake of The Crow is getting the boot! It's time to put the wrong things right. We've been Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile.
Thanks for liking and subscribing.
Join our Patreon, hit the bell, and now watch another damn video.